For Friday, July 28th, it's around midnight. On Mixified Radio, you got the local boys right here. I am Joe Carbonetta, alongside CJ Devine and Todd Fluker back here, who's kind of manning all the input, I was going to say. He's manning the phones, but he's also manning the internet. He's handling all kinds of stuff tonight.
Yeah, and how did Chevelle just shuck off all his jobs to me?
I don't know, but why am I looking at snow over here?
I don't know. I'm watching it. Looks good to me. Your computer sucks.
That could be.
You're not using Chrome. That's the problem.
I can't rule that out as a possibility.
Google wants you to use only Google products when using a Google product.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Only Google.
Says stream is good.
All right, well, we got all kinds of stuff to talk about this evening. First of all, if you were looking for us last week, you noticed that we were not here, and that's because I guess everybody decided to take a vacation. I mean, what was the deal
so
with
what
that,
had
guys?
happened was that there were these things, and what happened was there the plus, and then when and you have to take into consideration when eventually, yeah. So, right.
All right. That makes no sense whatsoever, but that's okay. Thanks for that explanation,
Yeah,
CJ, and I truly appreciate it.
I really just wanted to clear that up for the people.
So in the news this week, because we got to get into this, and again, I can see the twitching going on in your mouth right now, because I have to bring up the Republicans' continually failed attempts to derail Obamacare. The most recent one was they're losing their bid for the skinny repeal that just happened the night before last, in an overnight session that ran till 2:00 in the morning when they finally got the vote, and it was McCain, God bless him, who basically said, you know what, just not gonna go for this. He was the vote that really turned the tide. I don't want to say in the Democrats' favor, but away from the Republicans, because had he voted yes, then they would have been in a tie, and Vice President Pence could have come in and been the swing vote, and the Republicans could have gotten away with their skinny repeal. But interestingly enough, McCain got up and made a speech that basically said the reason, and everybody agrees that Obamacare has its flaws. And I think you've been very vocal about that, CJ. They're numerous, of course, but it is a somewhat functioning healthcare plan.
No, it's
McCain's
not.
position was that the reason that Obamacare got passed was because the Democrats were in control at the time and they were able to just ram it through. They didn't need Republican support in order to make it happen, and so they did. And he said what we ended up with was a flawed system, and we would just be making the same mistake over again if the Republicans turn around and ram their version through. So McCain wants to see Obamacare fixed. He wants to see it changed, but he wants a bipartisan approach to it. And until that happens, he's
never gonna
willing to
happen,
just
though.
leave it alone.
That's never going to happen. It is never going to happen. There is no way a Democrat on any earth in any dimension is going to allow Trump care to replace Obamacare.
Trump care? Is that
never
going to
happen?
Trump care, huh?
Yes.
So much for the American Health Care Act is now
Yeah.
Trump care.
Yeah. That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Todd is back there not saying a word.
Oh, I was looking forward to this part of the show being a little later. The part where I get to finish my sandwich.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
I gotta save this sandwich for later, otherwise I won't make it through the whole show.
I see. All right. So we still have Obamacare. It looks like it's going to be here for some time. That's not to say the Republicans are completely throwing in the towel, because they're not.
But you also have the problem of a lot of Republicans also just don't like Trump. So They can't be seen as co-signing too much of what he does.
Interesting. I guess that's true. But if you look at the votes last evening, there literally was just the one vote that stopped the Republicans from actually getting this through. It was McCain, who, by the way, came back from an illness. You know, he just gotten through having more treatments for a tumor. And so clearly he recognizes the need for some kind of health care.
Okay, no. No, he doesn't.
You don't think so?
No.
Huh?
No, wait. They've got the best health care on the planet.
Yes. That's
for him, it's a non-issue.
That's undeniable.
That man will come back from the dead with the health care plan
what
they have.
I'm saying is,
in fact, he might be dead. We don't know.
He recognizes the usefulness
No,
of
he
everyone
doesn't.
having a health care plan.
He does not.
You don't think so?
I don't think so at all. No. Not at all.
I think that he does.
I don't think so.
At
And
all?
a lot of that may just me being so jaded about politics because
That could never be. That couldn't have anything to do with it.
There's a marginal possibility that could be my motivation, but I don't believe any of them truly have. I shouldn't say that. Some of them probably do have citizens' best interest at heart, but I was thinking about this. I was thinking about it because I was thinking about Hillary Clinton, about her political path, how she was the governor's wife in Arkansas and then the senator in New York. And I mentioned this before. And she started out in Chicago. It's almost like baseball teams and basketball teams, like they are teams for the city, but nobody in that team is from the city or really reps the city, with the exception of LeBron in Cleveland. He reps Cleveland pretty hard.
Okay.
But the fact that they can just float around anywhere they want, anytime they want, it's kind of the politics has become the same thing. Politics is now sports.
Well, isn't that the thing?
They're all free
Everybody's
agents.
trying to get the ringer so that they win.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's all about the end game. It's not actually about the sport.
Exactly. And that actually has even trickled down to the local level where you have people who want to run for politic or want to run for a certain committee or something like that. So they'll pick an area in the city that they can go live in just so they can run in that area when they really have nothing to do with that area. Like they'll buy a piece of property there just to say that they live there or own a residence there. And
So that they can
run for that position.
Yeah, no, I believe that's
And
true.
that's been an ongoing situation because I always talk about how these people, they are in Washington, D.C. and on the East Coast for like months out of every year, and they don't come back home, and they don't know what's going on with the people in their communities because they are never in the community.
Well, let's face it, most of the politicians don't know what's going on anywhere outside of wherever they are.
That's a problem.
By
That
the
is
way,
a big problem.
if you want to comment, if you want to get in on our conversation tonight, the number to call is 951-356-6882. That's 951-356-6882. We are live, and we will talk to you. And hey, Fluker, why don't you tell them how they can write in if they just don't want to talk on the phone?
Well, the best way would be to look at our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/mixifiedradio. There's a link on there. It'll link you to the YouTube page. That's where we're streaming to right now. We got a chat going on there, or you can comment right on our Facebook page.
I wish I could see our feed.
Yeah, turn off your terrible computer. You're dragging down all our internets.
Well, see, the thing is, Joe is not willing to give up privacy. He wants to remain like super secretive about everything, and you're not going to be able to see anything if you don't want to give up some of your information.
What the heck are you talking about?
I'm saying Firefox is like one of the more locked down of the free browsers.
Oh, yes.
And you use it for that reason.
That's exactly
And
why.
you're not going to be able to do anything because every website wants all of your information all the time.
Yeah, well,
And you don't want to
go
give it up.
Firefox.
Yeah, I cannot.
I'm giving everybody the big finger.
You gotta feed the internet a cookie. When
It's
you
a
want,
family
get
show.
what you
All right.
want.
All right.
Family show.
At 10 o'clock at night. Anyway, so speaking of family things,
a
moving on
Hawaiian
here,
family show.
yeah, we're going to go on to the next subject that's going to wrinkle CJ's brow because we know he's a Trump lover. And I don't
Let's
know
not get carried away.
but
I'm not a Trump lover. I love him for America.
no, I don't. I don't know where you come up with that. But
I thought
anyway,
he just like talking about time zones in general.
so in his latest
back to the time
in his
zone.
latest double talk, because that's what he seems to be really good at. He has talked a mad game about so many things and then stepped back from just about every one of them. And the latest one is a slap in the face to the LGBT community.
LGBTQ.
Yeah, well, okay. If you want to be, what is the QQ?
Queer and questioning.
Oh, okay.
Which
great.
basically means everybody.
Did you just like make that up?
No, I've been corrected on it a few times.
Oh, I see. Okay. So yeah, when he was campaigning for election, he talked about how he was embracing the gay community, and he was going to champion their causes. And then in a tweet earlier this week, he turns around and says, yeah, we're not going to let anybody who's not 100% heterosexual in the military.
I got to find this tweet.
Well,
that a
was it
direct
even
quote?
talking about being straight specifically? I think it was specifically about transgender.
Okay, yeah,
people.
he was really directly targeting transgender people, but that's basically talking about the gay community.
Not really. And don't make that mistake, because that's how I got corrected. Trans is not necessarily the same as gay. They are a part of a larger community, but they are not the same thing. And there's multiple types of trans.
So now we're going to get
FYI.
into this debate where you're going to tell me that you can be transgendered but not be gay.
Yes. And an
Okay.
example of that would actually be the flagship tranny, Bruce. What's his name now?
Jenner.
Yeah.
Caitlyn, I
Yeah,
believe
that
you're
guy.
talking about. Yes.
He's straight, but he's a woman. Oh, I'm sorry. She's... Wait.
Yeah, what? What? I'm confused.
Exactly. And I would say so is Bruce. But whatever. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No,
So-
I don't know what you're trying to
I don't
say,
either.
actually.
And that's what makes it so... That's where the questioning,
Him and
that
Brenda
last
get
cue comes in.
along. He's always getting me in trouble.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. But yes, he does not like men.
Yeah.
Well,
What?
wait. She... Oh, boy. This hurts.
So many pronouns.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting a headache just thinking about this. But Trump has basically said that he's not going to, and I loved this line, by the way. I don't know, you seem to not be familiar with the tweet at all. But he specifically said, after consulting with his generals,
Yeah.
his generals.
Well, I mean, most presidents do that, though.
No, I don't believe most presidents do that. And they're
Yeah.
not his generals.
Well,
It's government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Last time I heard.
Okay. All right. Yeah, he is one of the most interesting presidents we've ever had.
Interesting is not the word I would use to describe this man.
It is exactly.
Or
And I'm
will
beginning to have a hard
hopefully.
time uttering the word president
It was
when connected with his name.
Hey, you got to let that go, man. Seriously. That's one of the things that irritates me about people that don't like Trump is they're like, he's not my president, blah, blah, blah.
You know me very well, and you know that most of the candidates that I have voted for in elections going back probably to Reagan were not the ones, the ones elected were not the ones I voted for. I stand behind every one of those presidents until now. Now I'm starting to wonder
I don't think you get to
how
pick and
we got
choose.
to this guy in office.
Now, that is fair. You can wonder that, but you still have to accept that he is the president. Because when you don't do that, especially with a president like Trump, the moment you put yourself on the opposition, you give him all of the ammunition he needs. He wants people to be against him because that's how he fights, and that's how the Trump maniacs get to come out and just, they feed all that.
Yeah, but when do we get to legitimately start questioning his competency?
You can do
as
that
a
every
leader?
day. You can do that every day, all day. But you can't do it and say he's not my president. Because if he's not your president, then you really have no reason to
I didn't
question.
say he wasn't my president. I'm just questioning how he got to be president.
I don't
And
question
I'm
that at all,
questioning-
which is
I'm-
why I have
I'm
always said
questioning
he is the
how
best possible president America could
Presidential.
have had.
I'm questioning how
I
presidential
question
he actually is.
question the phrase presidential because every presidential president we've had sucked. Every one of them does the same thing. They get up there and they sell you some pot of chicken
Who would you
in every
define
living
as
room.
a presidential president?
Take your pick.
No, I want
Take
you
your
to. I
pick.
want you to name one.
Reagan.
Reagan was a great
Clinton?
president. What are you talking about?
Reagan was not a
Yeah.
great president.
Yes, he was.
No, he was not. He was great for some, terrible for many. Under Reagan's administration is when the drug epidemic exploded. It started earlier than that, but it exploded under Reagan. Under Clinton, whom most of the Democrats love, you saw more people getting incarcerated and more of these handouts tearing down
I want to go back
families.
to the drug problem that you said exploded. Now, why do you attribute that to Reagan directly?
Iran-Contra, all of that stuff was going down, the whole Panama
What does that got to do
situation.
with drugs?
Drugs have always been the funds that financed covert ops for the CIA. That has always been the case, which is why the drug war has been fake. And you don't have to go too far because they actually released the documents that say, yes, the CIA was feeding drugs into low-income communities. It's how they disassembled the Black Panther Party, how they disassembled all of those movements. They completely decimated them by infiltrating the communities with drugs and taking out all of the leaders. It's the oldest trick in the book. I mean, they used to do that. China would do that to take down regimes. You pump them full of opium, and then you go and mate with all of the people, and you eliminate the population.
Yeah.
Oldest trick in the book.
Now we do it with fast food.
Oldest trick in the book.
Okay,
So wait, But what can we say when you hear the president tweeting about things, anti-LGBTQ,
What you can say,
and then you have people like this guy in Phoenix who then goes and sets fire to a youth, LGBT youth center.
That I see. I can't blame one person's stupid speech for another person's stupid actions, because once you start to do that, then you actually have a reason to shut down free speech. If you're going to say we got to be careful about everything we say because somebody might take me seriously, that's part of the reason why a lot of comedians now are finding it very hard to do comedy. They don't do college tours anymore because they're always getting booed because they can't be politically incorrect anymore.
Colleges are generally the worst now.
Exactly.
Just because of
it used to be a haven.
Spaces.
Could you imagine George Carlin trying to do some of his material today on a college campus?
No.
Could you imagine Richard Pryor doing his material today?
Could you
on a
imagine
college
any
campus?
kind of free speech on a college campus
No,
today?
I can't, unless you're saying what
That's
they
the
want
problem.
and what they want you to say. So that's my whole point.
Okay.
You can't blame crazy people for doing something that because somebody else said so. That's going to be the case no matter what across the board. It's the same thing they say every time you talk
But
about.
I'm not blaming. Well,
No,
I
well,
am blaming a crazy person.
just to
but
make my
the
point.
crazy person is Trump.
Just to make my point, they say the same thing every time you bring up Christians. They always say abortion explosions, blowing up clinics. That happened in like the 80s. When is the last time you heard of somebody blowing up an abortion clinic?
They protest them rather regularly.
Yeah.
They really don't even do
That's
that.
true.
They'll stand out front with a sign, like one person. That's not a protest. That's somebody with a lot of spare time.
That's still a protest.
In fact, I would go so far as to say that's ministry, because they're not protesting. They're usually saying it's not a good thing, especially if you're talking Christian, and it's not. Let's be real. Nobody wants their family to go out and get an abortion. You're not going to say, hey, sis, I think you should go get an abortion today. Nobody thinks abortions are a good thing. Okay? Let's be real about that. Come
you're
on.
calling them a necessary evil?
No, I don't think they're necessary, but that's me. And the crazy thing about me is
Is he getting religious on us now?
no, I'm a walking dichotomy because I am pro-choice.
I agree with that.
I am pro-choice. But I think people need to understand the ramifications of the choices that they make. And they have to stop deluding themselves and thinking that there are no consequences to your choices.
I think the thing is, CJ is pro-choice as long as you make the choice he would make.
No. I fully expect most people not to choose what I do. I fully expect that.
I hope not.
Yeah.
The world would be a better place if
All right.
everybody did what I said.
Now this one, I gotta throw this one in there too, because this hit the news this week also, and I thought that was very interesting. How many of you guys? Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. Neither of you guys do any housework at all. Anyway, for
Wait,
you,
wait,
those
say
of
that
you
word
in the
again. What is that?
audience,
House
who owns a Roomba?
work.
Does anybody? Do you guys know anybody that owns a Roomba?
I have a Roomba.
I've seen
You
them
have
on
a
YouTube.
Roomba?
I have a Roomba.
He's had one forever, man.
Yeah.
Really?
Love it.
Well, yeah, here's the thing about those things, all right? Apparently,
Love
when
it.
they wander around your house, they're actually making a map
Yeah.
of your house, okay? And all but the most basic of these models can store all that information and can actually make determinations as to what kind of furniture you have in your house.
Like ghetto furniture?
It'll know like if you have an easy chair or if you don't have one, you
Like,
know.
This guy's broke.
And actually, apparently, some of them can even determine brands. And iRobot is looking into the idea of selling this information to outfits like Amazon and Google, so that the next
apparently
thing you
it's
know,
game on with that kind of stuff.
you're going to start getting ads based on the fact that if your living room doesn't have an easy chair, you'll suddenly start getting ads for like Lazy Boy or something like that.
I need a new lazy boy.
I mean,
I have two lazy boys.
at what point do we draw the line and say, you know what, you're really
Useless boys.
invading my privacy on a level that's completely irrational and unnecessary?
Good for nothing, sucking up on my internet.
You mean literal lazy boys?
Yeah, they're lazy boys.
I mean, seriously, you guys are like not the
wash a
least bit
dish.
concerned about this.
I don't have one. There's a reason why I don't have robots in my house.
I mean,
I will never have
that's
a
'cause
robot
you're
in my
too
house.
cheap to buy one. But
No, heck no, man. Are you kidding me? I've seen the movies.
Yeah, I've had a
Danger, Will Robinson.
I've had a Roomba. Probably, I've had the one I've had. Actually, I bought one, and then it finally died, and I bought another one probably 5 years ago.
I can't believe you have one of these
So
things.
this
in
is
your-
my second Roomba.
Is this because you're just too damn lazy to push a vacuum around inside the
What's
house?
the point of vacuuming? To pick up all the little specks of dust on the floor? That's just dust. It ain't hurting nobody.
Then why do you have a Roomba?
Exactly. So it can do it for me, because I ain't doing it.
So you are just too lazy to push the vacuum around.
Yeah. What am I going to do that for? It's a colossal waste of time.
Oh my goodness. Okay, and so it doesn't bother you that this thing could be roaming around your house right now, taking pictures of everything.
I mean, those are selling points of the Roomba. It says it has, electronic, eyes on it, so it doesn't go downstairs and destroy itself.
Yes, but now they're trying to pervert the capabilities of this machine to start gathering intelligence on you.
And that's the problem. They talked about that now, about how ISPs can start selling your information to everyone.
Wait. What do you mean can start? They've been doing that for years.
Yeah, I'm sure they have, but yeah, all this stuff is just coming to light. I mean, they're trying their hardest to get rid of net neutrality in general.
Oh yeah.
I mean, everybody's information is going to be fair game.
Already is.
How long is
you
it
can
gonna
actually
be?
go and find out what all your information is. They'll make you pay for it, but you can go to the companies that collect and hold all that information and ask them for a copy. They're required to give you a copy of the information they hold on you.
How long will it be before I go to the store and buy a shirt like the one you guys are wearing right now, and it starts taking pictures of all the other shirts in my closet and sending that information off so that it can, I can be marketed to by different brands later?
I think that was last June, actually.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. So, all right.
We've noticed you're low on Nautica shirts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we noticed this one has a hole in it. It's time to replace it. Here's the exact same shirt.
Time to stop shopping at Walmart.
I don't know what's up with that Amazon button, the easy button or whatever, where you just hit a button and it just automatically orders stuff to you.
Yeah, and you have to pay for the button. That's the thing that irritates me.
Inventory replenishment by automatic inventory replenishment.
Insane.
So,
I
speaking
can just
of
see my
insane,
kid running up there and just whacking that button, and I come home and I've got a pallet of freaking
of toilet paper or
there.
something like that. Yeah, Speaking of insane, the British have decided that they are going to ban all diesel and gasoline powered vehicles by the year 2040.
Okay. I expect to be in a flying car by then anyway.
I don't want to see the day when there are flying cars.
A Jetson-style jetpack.
Heck
It's
yeah.
bad enough that I got to worry about somebody crashing through my house while driving, down the street. Now I'll have to worry about them coming in from the ceiling because they're flying overhead.
Well, they're actually going to get everybody out of vehicles anyway.
Well-
I think that there's two paths that are going to converge.
Yeah, that's that whole, what is that, zero something or other?
Well, they're already doing it, and like they just installed a bunch of those rentable bicycles for Metro in Pasadena.
Uh-huh.
They have installed a ton of those stands out there. So they basically want you to walk, go get this bike, ride it to the bus, go where you're going, leave the bike there.
Does anybody else see the irony in this, that somehow they are pushing transportation of the past as transportation of the future?
Well, I heard an interesting perspective on this.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
And it actually all revolved around the 710 freeway that never existed.
Yeah, okay.
Because they've been trying. The
one that
710,
city's
for
getting
anybody who
sued
doesn't
over?
know, I don't think
The one
they are
that
anymore.
South Pasadena managed to completely
Oh,
tie up for the last 30 years.
It's totally dead now. It's totally dead.
Uh-huh.
They've passed the final bill that pretty much sealed the deal. Because there was going to be two options. One, it would go above ground. The other one, it would go
gonna be
through
underground,
a tunnel.
right.
And they actually just passed a bill that said a tunnel is not an option. And they previously had passed one that said it can't go over land either. So
Why
it's
is
a
the
done
tunnel
deal.
not an option?
They voted not to do it. It would cost
Just
way too much money.
it's
it was
just
going to
too
be like
expensive.
a
Can't be any more
$1 billion
expensive than that
a
stupid
mile or
bullet
something
train.
like that. Well,
The bullet
yeah.
train to Vegas?
No,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
that bullet train. No, the one that's supposed to
That
run
one will
north
pay
through
for itself.
California. But yeah, exactly. Anyway, so go
No,
ahead.
the
Go ahead.
Mexicans are going to build it.
Right after they get
call
through
it-
building
it's gonna
that
go
wall.
straight to the Trump casino.
Right after they get through building that wall, they're going to work on that bullet train.
Yeah. Trump should build a wall around his casino. I saw people protesting his casino out there when he was running for
Okay, so
president.
anyway,
Anywho,
you were saying.
the perspective was this. Roads were designed back in the day for new cars like the 110 freeway. That first stretch before it hits downtown, it's all super windy.
Yeah, it
top
was-
speeds of like 40 miles per hour.
Right, exactly. Cars that were barely like 10
Right.
horsepower.
And they were saying that transportation for years, all transportation planning, particularly with freeways, because originally California was going to have freeways like every 5-6 miles apart or something like that. It's just going to be this huge grid of freeways.
Network of freeways, yeah.
And they basically couldn't afford it, so they didn't do it. They just decimated the communities that couldn't afford to block it, and the communities that could, it didn't hurt. They were saying that whole mode of transportation is not really effective because every time you build a new road, it just gets crowded. You don't have to look too further than the 210 freeway that they extended years ago from where it terminated in San Dimas. Now it runs all the way out to Redlands, and that thing is packed.
Yeah.
It is packed. So you can't just build another freeway. It's not going to solve the problem because you're just going to end up with more cars. So the whole thinking is get people out of cars. Most people are only trying to go a few miles. You give them decent functional public transportation, which we still need to work toward, and then make it affordable and make things walkable. So instead of building communities, and it's more difficult in the West because it's so spread out, but in places like New York, they don't really need cars. They do subway, they do public trans, it works. Here in California now, most people are starting to do the Uber thing and all other stuff, if for no other reason because the insurance cost, the maintenance cost on vehicles is just getting way out of hand.
Right.
So they're getting everybody
how
out
does
of
this,
cars.
Yeah, what has this got to do with
They're
bicycles
getting
again?
everybody out of cars, but people still need to get to the public transportation.
And you know, there's one major problem with this, right? A large part of our economy is still based on automotive sales. If you
I'm
do
not
away
convinced of
with
that.
the car, you're going to decimate the economy.
I don't think a large part of the economy is based on auto sales.
You don't think that the automobile drives a
think
large portion of this
No,
economy
I
between
think
gasoline sales?
that
and
hole is going to fill itself.
Here's what's gonna happen when the government no longer can tax me on registration for my car.
But they're already doing
tax me for purchasing fuel for my car, and then tax me for using the roads.
They're already doing it. They're taxing you for health care. So they're no longer taxing you on products. Now all the taxes are migrating to services. So you don't pay for a car, but now you've got to pay for your tap card to get on the bus. You've got to rent these little bikes that get you to and from your bus to whatever your final
Why do I have to rent a
destinations
bike
are.
when I can just buy my own?
You can buy your own bike, but not everybody wants to buy a bike because a decent bike is $400 or $500.
So what are you going to say? They're going to
and then if
start
your bike
making
gets
me
stolen,
register my bike
Yes, they
once a year?
absolutely will.
And then how you gonna? I'd love to see them try to sell me on the idea that my bike needs a smog check.
No, they won't.
I
They'll,
can
well,
see
they'll
that.
probably do something where they have like bike inspection stations. I don't doubt they'll do that at all because whoever thought that the IRS would be enforcing health care?
Yeah, we're back on that again.
I'm saying they'll find a way.
Well, I'll tell you, finding a way, we have to find our way to a break right now, and we're going to be back. Don't forget, the number to call is 951-356-6882. This is Around Midnight with the Local Boys, and we'll be back right after this. All right, it's Around Midnight with the Local Boys. I am Joe Carbonetta. We got CJD. I was going to call him DJ CJD again. CJ Divine. I know, I did. I called him that anyway. And Todd Fluker back here. He's answering the telephones. If you give us a call tonight at that number, 951-356-6882. What was that?
Oh, yeah, phone. Yeah, we'll totally pick up the phone.
Yeah, we'll pick up that phone if you call. So give us a call. We want to talk to you. And hey, Fluker, what's the how do they reach us by email, Facebook,
Facebook.com/Mixified Radio.
MIXAFIED.
And there's probably a Twitter out there. You know,
MIXAFIED.
Mixified.
Am I what?
MIXAFIED.
At Mixified. You can tweet us.
Okay.
You're thinking about that way too
Yeah, I
hard.
really was because it just kind of sounded like the. Never mind. I was gonna. Yeah, forget it. Forget it. I'm just
Forget
gonna
it.
leave it alone.
Just give us a follow, tweet,
I'm
or
just gonna leave it
comment.
All right. Or like I said, do it the old-fashioned way. Give us a call. 951-356-6882. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Like, follow, subscribe.
And yeah, that's it. Follow us, subscribe, tell your friends, do all kinds of fun stuff for us. Please.
Send us money.
That'd be good. What do you think?
Are we allowed to do that?
I don't know. I was going to say, can we like open up one of those GoFundMe accounts or something like that?
On it.
All right. So, getting back into things, we were discussing the whole ban on diesel and gas across the pond. That kind of hits a little bit closer to home for Fluker over here, but
What? Huh?
by degrees only.
I mean, I take public transportation here to work once in a while, and it's
It's not bad if you
It works
plan.
fine.
You have to think what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, they've expanded the buses. There's a new,
Subways and whatnot.
express bus that gets on the freeway and stuff like that. So it's not bad.
Well, the whole reason for the bikes is they have that thing called the last mile, which is getting from wherever the bus or the train stops to your destination.
your actual destination.
And that's why they
People
have
are
like
too
that.
lazy
They
to
have that
walk.
little scooter thingy that you see people walking around. The one with the battery powered thing. I
Oh.
forget, it was the Move Me or whatever. It's like $2,000 for that thing.
The Move Me.
Yeah,
There's this
I've
little
seen that
tiny
thing.
scooter
You
bicycle
mean
type thing.
not the
It's like a
you're
little-
not talking about segways?
No, no.
Okay,
no.
right.
It's not
Although
really
they've
like
come out with one that's you just stand on. That's not the full blown deal. They have one that's
Yeah,
just
wasn't that
one
called a
wheel.
hoverboard? Weren't those things catching fire?
They have those too. Those and because there's this guy that actually near where I work, and he has one. And he scoots. I've seen them. They're popping up. They actually have. I think they're designed and built out of Pasadena. So
Interesting.
it's a local company.
All
I
right.
think I remember seeing a showroom on Del Mar.
Well,
Yeah,
if you want to talk to us about any of those things, you can call us and join us on that. We're moving on to this next
Wait,
topic
so
here.
do you think that's going to start happening in America?
Oh, well, they're trying to do it in California already. Come on. They've got the electric vehicle mandate and all this
Why are
other
we
stuff.
talking
and-
like it doesn't already exist? The only place that's not a thing is the West Coast. It's like the thing in San Francisco, which is the oldest city in California. So they have large public transportation because the cities are built tighter, and it's just a pain in the butt to move around in a car. In L.A., nobody walks in L.A.
I mean,
You will pry the steering wheel out of my cold, dead hands. That's what I have to say about
But I mean,
that.
you could get an electric car, but I mean, is electricity that much cleaner than
Nope.
gas?
Nope.
It's still got to come from a power plant
Well,
somewhere.
not
And then
necessarily.
you also
If you
have to
get-
dispose of the batteries with a hazmat
If we
uniform
got,
on.
Yeah, if we got to the point where we were super efficient with our solar power,
Never going to happen
why do you say that?
because it's not it's something people can charge
What,
enough money
didn't
for.
Elon Musk come up with those solar panels for your house?
Man, all of the
just-
technology for
they're just
solar
like
has existed for
house-
like 3 decades now.
House shingles?
Yes, but it's become more efficient, so it's generating more electricity out
They've
of the
had
same square
efficient
foot.
ones. It's not a matter of efficiency. It's not a matter of the technology not being available. It's a matter of people not being willing to foot the money in order to make a large enough manufacturing base in order to make it affordable for people. Because that means you have to kill the industry they're already making all this money off of. Petroleum is not going to let that happen quickly.
But there are people constantly calling me saying they could save me hundreds of thousands of dollars on my electricity bill.
Oh, I thought you were going to say on your auto insurance.
And that too. If I switch to solar. Everybody's trying to get me to switch to solar at my house.
Yeah, it's kind of like the time you get the little postcard. I always get them from the local service provider for the internet. Like, hey, bump up to our new super fast hyper service. And you call them like, oh, yeah, we don't service your place. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that.
Anyway, that was a downer.
Yeah, thanks for that. So, speaking of downers, this was an interesting statistic that
You have
that
the
came
craziest segues, man.
This-
What is that? It's
this-
like, yeah, I just stepped on a dead antelope. Speaking of dead antelopes, cars are doing great. What? That's what you sound like.
That'll be the day.
Anyway,
Yeah, there's been a distinct lack of drops in this show.
yeah. So this statistic came out earlier this week that sperm counts and quality are down by 50%.
Speak for yourself.
How do they know that?
Across the last 40 years, it's gone down by 50%. Well,
So they've been examining men's junk for 40 years?
I guess so, yeah.
Whoa, Chevelle, you stepped
But-
on my joke. Speak for yourself. I gotta get it out there nice and clear.
Yeah, okay. But this is only happening on the three most developed continents on the planet, which are Europe, North America, and Australia. So if you go to continents that were considered part of the third world, they're apparently very virile and the population is exploding. And in North America and in Europe and in Australia, where we're supposedly very developed, we're actually beginning to see a significant decrease in fertility and a drop-off in population.
Seems like we're back to that nuclear power problem. What's the proximity of the average person to a nuclear power plant?
You think that's
in
what
the
it is?
Developed countries.
Well, see, this is the interesting point. It's funny that you mentioned that because science currently has no explanation for why this is happening.
What has science ever actually explained?
Ooh.
Look for the drop, Joe. I see you. Come on, look for one.
No, I don't think I have one for
What
that.
did you say?
Oh, I know. I see. Like,
I'm going to try and forget you said that.
there we go. How's that?
More like a rim shot. Come on, that was good.
Okay. All right. The thing that I wanted to say was totally not appropriate, so I'm not going to say
When did that ever stop you?
No, I've got it. No, I'm trying to be a better person.
Okay, all right. So anyway, so what do you speculate is the? I mean, are we looking at pollution as a problem? Are we talking air pollution, water
I blame
pollution,
global warming.
contamination of the environment? Is it global warming?
It's global warming. People's
Interestingly-
junk is getting too hot.
Well, interestingly enough, like I said, it is only in these three most developed continents. But how much of this is stress? I mean,
I don't
medical
know if you
science
could-
is
I
known
don't
for a
think you
long
can blame
time
it on
that-
stress.
But it's a scientific fact that when you are stressed out, your sperm count is going to go down. A lot of the body suffers.
But let's follow that line of thought.
Okay.
You're saying that I got to go to work and do this 9 to 5, and I got a deadline coming up in 10 days versus if I don't go out here and plant this farm, I'm going to die in 2 days. That's stress. Third world country stress is a whole nother level of stress. If I don't go out here and shoot this deer, it's going to eat. I won't eat for a month, and then that lion will devour my carcass. That's stress.
Okay. So you're ruling out stress as a possibility.
Or
here.
maybe a winter is coming and the militia from the other village is coming and threatening to chop all my limbs off. That is stress. I'm not going to make my car payment. Yeah, it's a little irritating, but it ain't that daggum stressful.
Yeah, those White Walkers are a real problem.
All right, so CJ, what would you suggest is? I mean, I know you said global
Well,
warming,
I
but
think it's
how do you
I
figure
think it's a cumulative
are
effect.
completely unscientific?
I don't think it's global
No-
warming.
nobody
I don't
here
personally
works
believe in
for
global
JPL.
warming. There, I said it.
You don't. Oh wow, he really is a Trump
I
lover.
did say that. No, come on, man. The
He
world's
doesn't
getting
believe
hot.
it.
I think that's a
Wait,
great
wait,
thing.
where's your Trump impersonation? What? There's no such thing as global warming.
This guy knows what he's talking about. I like this CJD guy. He's my man.
You know what?
He's got
I'm
the
not going to live that
wheelies.
long. I'm not that concerned about it, frankly.
I'm pretty sure it's Bluetooth waves.
But you have children, and
Bluetooth
they will
waves.
live longer.
You know what?
And according to scientific,
what I'm going to
they
say.
may not be able to have their own children afterward.
This is actually not a new thing. This is definitely a problem of developed and successful societies.
Okay.
Because every society that becomes that successful ends up failing for a number of reasons, and that tends to be one of the reasons. One of the things is a lot of people just don't want to procreate. So birth control, I think, does have an effect. You can't go in there and constantly manipulate for women, men. I mean, we're talking about sperm count specifically. But I think that when a man is throwing on a condom with spermicide and then he's going out and he's shagging girls for the first 15, 20 years of his adult sexual life,
Yeah.
it's going to have an effect.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where your hand is, Ben. I don't think I'm going to go there.
Oh man.
But it's going to have an effect. You can't sit there and think that having spermicide wrapped around your junk for who knows how many cumulative days is not going to have an effect.
That's what she said.
The hell are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
It's going to have an effect, all
Yeah.
right.
Birth control definitely has an effect on women. Any man who has ever had a woman that stopped her birth control for any amount of time has seen how the hormonal rage kicks in.
I thought they got the rage while they were on.
It goes both ways. It's
No, I
when you're
thought
it's
the
when you're
birth
getting.
control is supposed to mellow them
basically,
out.
That's,
Well,
that's
yeah.
a whole different
No,
conversation. Women are just angry all the time.
It's not even just with
Dang.
birth control. It's really with like any medication you have to do consistently. There's that period of time where you first start doing it, where your body is flipping out, and then there's that period of time where you're coming off of it, your body flips out. So the same thing happens with birth control, and I think the same thing is probably a part of what happens with spermicides. And then the other side of that I think is how much we process our food and how much non-food we actually have in our systems.
Non-food.
Yeah. Like, why do we have so many fillers? Why do we have plastic in our peanut butter?
So basically, that sandwich full of nitrites you just ate before we went on the air.
Perfect
You're
example.
thinking that's a.
Perfect example.
How do you think they get ham that cheap?
Just saying. This guy's dropping science.
Well, I'm not.
this guy.
I'm
I like this Todd Fluker.
I'm not going to disagree with you that I do think that contamination is playing a major part of that. Processed foods probably are not helping us one bit. But
Plus,
what
there's the
about the
Bluetooth.
GMO foods? You know,
Yeah,
when you
well,
try
that's
to
another thing.
when you try to eat more healthy and you try to eat fresher, but everything
Well, I'd be
now
interested
is
in seeing the comparison between the European countries and America's, because a European is a lot more strict about their GMO than America is.
and yet they're suffering from the same decrease in sperm count.
I don't know
and
if it's
quality.
the same. I want to see what the difference
It
is.
is.
There's
It's
got to be a
still-
difference.
In these three continents, the most developed continents on the planet, 50% decline over 40 years.
Yeah, but I'm sure like in one it might be an average of 49 versus on the other where it's 53 or something like that. I don't have that data, so I'd be curious.
But you're splitting hairs at this point. What's
But it means
one or
something.
2
It
percentage
means
points? I don't think makes that big a difference.
I do. And I think you're wrong.
I'm sure there's a lot of factors, Bluetooth waves, and other such things.
There you go.
But come on, you got
And
this.
it's probably from years of walking around with cell phones.
Yeah,
next to our
everybody's
junk.
got this thing in your pocket that's totally receiving all these waves at all times.
Yeah.
It's drawing waves towards your wang. That's the last thing I need.
That's it. We're going to develop the Wang Shield, and we're going to market that.
Actually, I think you're
we're
late on that.
trademarking this right now, the Wang Shield.
I'm going to Google that. I bet you there's one already.
That's going to protect you from cellular radiation. That is going to be, and we're going to market it right here on Around Midnight.
Cell phone waves, Bluetooth waves, Wi-Fi waves.
There you go, exactly. And I'd like to think, by the way, that we are doing our part to help the population, because based on the fact that we haven't gotten a single blasted phone call so far, obviously people are doing other things and maybe other people, but they're not watching us. So please let us know that somebody's paying attention. Give us a call, 951-356-6882. That is the number, 951-356-6882. This is Around Midnight with the Local Boys, and we will be back right after this. All right, it's Around Midnight right here. We were still debating about the marketing strategy we're going to use for the Wang Shield. But
TM.
Again, yeah, you heard that right here. We're trademarking that right now.
Patent pending.
Copyright, everything. We've got it all, the Wang Shield.
Registered trademark.
And we are so totally going to sell that. We really are.
New Around Midnight, brought to you by the Wang Shield.
Maybe we can make it out of like soda cans. We can cut them in half or something like that,
Ow!
Don't be talking about cutting anything
Yeah.
around my... Nah, man. Come on. Inappropriate. Inappropriate.
Plus, we have to make one for the ladies.
Oh, yeah, what would we call that one? Because
The muff stopper.
Huh? No.
That might be a thing
We
already.
gotta work
Yeah,
on that one.
yeah.
We gotta workshop it.
Yeah, we'll have to put together some focus groups. And
Yeah, I'll put together some
Actually, maybe we should change the name to the V Shield and the P Shield.
V Shield. Yeah.
I think they already have pea shields.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you said last time.
Yeah.
Plus, that's what she said.
Okay, so maybe we could call it the. No, that would be bad too. I was gonna say we could have the V and D shields, the VD shield. That's a completely
That's
different.
what got us into this situation
yeah,
in the
exactly,
first
right.
place.
Yeah, that's okay. We got to work on that, but still, we're trademarking.
You know,
that.
actually, that may also be a contributing cause.
You think so?
Yeah.
But then, why would that be a factor in more developed?
Because they have a
continents?
lot more time to screw around. They do it recreationally.
Well, no, okay, but if you look, now we're totally derailing our conversation, but AIDS seems to have most largely affected the African continent, right?
I don't know.
I believe that it did.
I guess.
And so why not one of the other STDs then? Why only that?
Oh, man, they all have. They all affect all of the continents. The only reason it's such a big deal in Africa is because they don't have all the access to the medications that everybody else does.
Interesting.
And then they're in some cultures. Well, I mean, it's a long deep
Well,
story,
and-
and plus the CIA.
And this another fantastic segue here. This leads into our next discussion when you're talking about them not having access to medications. So check out this interesting scientific fact that was discussed earlier this week. Anybody here know what the current world population is?
7.4 billion.
You just read that off of our notes.
Actually, I heard that on something a couple of days
Yeah,
ago.
7.4 billion. All right. Here's a question for you. What was the population 100 years ago?
1 billion.
1 billion.
You guys are all reading off the same note sheet here.
Then why are you asking the question? You know we have the answer.
I wanted to see if you guys
I'm not
would
going to sit here and have you
think
making
about
me
this.
look like a fool.
Okay, anyway. So in the last 100 years, there has been a 7-fold increase in the population. If we take that as a given, in the next 100 years, if we're looking at another 7-fold increase, that means we will jump from 7.4 billion to over 49 billion.
Never going to happen.
Trump's going to take care of that.
Yeah, we're going to build a wall around people's genitals to slow down the
The pea
population
shield.
growth.
Yeah, okay.
Pea
So
shield.
We're going to
Brought
make
to
the
you
babies
by-
build it.
here's the question. Where are we going to put 49 billion people?
Where do we put 7.5 billion people? There's still enough room on the planet for everything. The only reason why we don't have enough resources is because people are greedy.
You think we could actually fit 49 billion people on this planet?
If we wanted to, yeah.
That would be...
I think we could
Sure,
do it.
you could fit them, but
I mean, India alone is what, 2 billion?
Well, anyway,
you're stretching your resources pretty thin.
What-
China's at 5 billion.
what I really wanted to get to,
It's
or
gonna be-
what I was really trying to get at with this, is that how did we get to 7.4 billion in 100 years? And
Okay,
Is
the
it-
man has
yeah, no, this isn't that kind of a lesson.
pea.
Is it maybe the fact that we have actually stopped nature from running its course and naturally limiting the population growth?
no. I think just as many people are dying. I think we're just screwing a lot faster.
No, I think people are
What the hell are you talking about?
people are definitely living a lot longer.
Yeah.
Than
Well,
Well,
wait,
not
so
all people.
people
I
are
think
living
on the
longer.
average, I don't think that's the case.
But
Like
let's-
if you took all of the people, I think the average age of death is probably maybe
Let's
marginally.
let's
From
go back
when?
and look. Let's go back and look at the European continent. You know, back more than 100 years ago, you had the Great Plagues that wiped out thousands of people. When was the last time you heard of an epidemic in
Bird
the world?
flu.
Yeah, but how many people actually got wiped out by that epidemic?
That was a
It had to be like
that was a weak epidemic.
tens.
Tens of people.
Tens of people, exactly. You know, we have medications for so many things that actually some of the infections are becoming resistant to the medications now, which is its
Joe,
own
you're
problem.
sitting here talking like you haven't watched The Walking Dead.
What?
It's gonna happen, bro. It's gonna happen. Atlanta's
The zombie
gonna collapse.
apocalypse? What?
It's gonna happen.
No.
It's gonna happen.
Coral. You're not helping us here. I mean,
I think global warming is gonna kill us all.
The thing that doesn't exist.
yeah. Wait, didn't you just say you don't believe in global
Don't try to throw
warming?
my own words back at me.
So wait, are you,
Chevelle 2020.
Todd? Are you gonna go out and start building an ark? I mean, what's the deal with the
Oh, that's a great idea.
global warming?
Yeah, I definitely have a bucket of supplies in my backyard. You know, buried, so that nobody else can get it.
Yeah, but if we get flooded, isn't that gonna be a bit of a problem if you've buried it?
I'm gonna put this half a sandwich back there. I'll be good. That'll last me like a couple weeks, right?
Oh, easily.
Yeah, I'll get that in a couple of years. It'll be
No,
just
wait.
fine.
It's gonna last me a couple of weeks because I'm gonna come up to your house with a bat because that's all I'm keeping around.
wrapped in barbed wire.
You guys are not taking this seriously at all.
I honestly don't believe it's a problem. I really don't believe it's a problem. One
It's
of two things
definitely
is
a
going to happen.
problem.
Actually, I'll just say one of two. One of two things is going to happen.
Okay.
Nature's going to kill us, or we're going to kill ourselves.
So
That's
you
it.
think that's going to be the mass epidemic that wipes out the population is Kim Jong
It
Il over there
happens
in
every
North
time.
Korea?
I
who
think we'll
keeps
probably
testing
end up
missiles?
imploding.
Speaking of which, did you hear that he launched another missile overnight that actually got right off, or basically could reach the coast of Japan, basically sending out a warning shot saying, "Hey, look, we got an ICBM and we can touch you."
Kim Jong Un.
When is somebody going to just blow up that country?
It's never going to happen.
You don't think so?
No, because of Bernie Sanders.
What?
As long as you have a person like Bernie Sanders that is a legitimate candidate in this country, you're never going to have that happen. There are way too many pacifists, way too many people are going to cry, and they think Kim Jong-il is just misunderstood.
Weren't you just the one saying that we have to accept our president?
Yes, absolutely.
And he's
But
boneheaded
you don't
enough to
understand-
actually
you don't
go to
understand the
war
reason why
with
I
his
say that.
generals.
You don't understand the reason why I say that.
You're right. You're not
when
making
you
any
have
sense
a
at all.
president, the one reason, and I've said this consistently, the one thing that I love about Donald Trump is he means what he says. Yes, what he
It
says
could be
can be
misguided and
incredibly
completely wrong.
stupid. He can be incredibly stupid, but he means it, and he follows through.
Uh-huh.
We are 7 months through his presidency, and he's already done several attempts, failed, of eliminating the Obamacare.
Yeah, well, okay.
It took Obama 2 terms to get that done.
I could get behind him
2
more
terms.
if he was actually willing to like send some bombs over toward
Wait,
Kim
didn't we?
Jong-il.
How is he
and
gonna
didn't
do
we
that?
start the
How
show
is he gonna do
saying
that?
something about how Trump was campaigning?
Oh, he's already got raised his
getting
finances for his next
LGBT
election.
people behind him to vote for him and just
I'm
telling
not-
him whatever
no,
he
I
wanted.
don't see how
I don't
he's
think
gonna
Trump's
do
going to
that.
let any
Yeah.
LGBT people behind him.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Do you have anything besides Mexican food?
What was that?
I think he missed. He fat fingered that
That
one.
was strangely appropriate.
That was a good
Oh
one.
my
That was
gosh.
great. But yeah, so
I'm at a loss.
how can you say Trump is following through with everything he says?
What did
and
he
he's-
say he was going to do? What were his main things? Build a wall, get rid of Obamacare. Those are the 2 big things. At least those are the 2 things that the media would have you believe were his entire basis. And he has emphatically attempted to do both of those
So
things.
far, the only thing he's actually been successful at is stopping people from coming into the country. You know, all
Which
the
is what he said he
managed
would
to-
do.
He managed to pass the
and
Muslim
he did that
ban.
within 2 months of his presidency.
He managed to pass the Muslim ban.
Within
That's
2
what
months
he
of
has
his
done,
presidency.
which I think
No.
is a completely misguided approach to any kind of a terrorist problem.
How would you solve it?
I certainly wouldn't. I'm not for just painting with a broad brush and eliminating all peoples we don't necessarily understand from coming into the country.
So what would you do? I hear what you wouldn't do, but I want to know what you would do.
I you know what? Honestly, I think I would have left it business as usual. I think you try to increase security at the borders, but just cutting people out wholesale not the answer.
Yeah, I feel like there's just got to be more training and
Oh, come on. That's not going to work. Anything government ever attempts to do fails, inevitably.
then
Okay, here's
why
my
try?
solution then. You let me carry a concealed weapon. Let everybody carry a concealed weapon, and that way, when the terrorist comes along, he only gets to blow up one person before a half a dozen people blow so many holes in him, he doesn't know what he's doing.
You just lost 500 electoral votes.
How's that?
Everybody wants gun control, man. You're in California. You can't run around talking that.
yeah, no.
You better get up to Inyo County with that kind of nonsense.
I'm not one of those gun control advocates.
Nor
not,
am
not
I,
at all.
because I don't believe in such a thing as gun violence. I believe there's violence, and I think people may have guns when they do it. But if you take away the guns, they'll just use knives. You take away the knives, they're going to use their fists. You take away their fists, they're going to yell really
Exactly.
aggressively.
So how does banning Muslims from coming in here stop the terrorists?
I don't think that well, I think it will slow them down. One thing that, and it's not politically correct to say, and I recognize that, and I feel ashamed for having to say it, but it is a fact. Radical Islamist extremists want to destroy this country.
Oh,
And-
I'm not going to argue. I don't think anybody's going to argue
Right.
that. But not all Muslims
And-
are radical
No,
extremists.
I would never say that. I would never say that. But they absolutely will not budge on this. This is not like a Russia-U.S. thing back in the 80s where, we both had nuclear weapons and we didn't want to kill each other because we didn't want to die. The
Mutually
people that are
assured
flying
destruction.
airplanes into towers, the people that are going into schools and shooting up people like the San Bernardino situation and whatnot, they believe when they die, they're going to get the virgins. In fact, the only way that you can absolutely get your 70 virgins in paradise is to commit jihad. That's the only guaranteed way. Other than that, you just don't know if you get in. You just don't know.
Okay, that's all well and good, but still, I don't see how banning everybody who
I don't think you should ban everybody, and
practices
I'm not
that
saying that I have a
particular
solution.
religious
I'm
belief
just it really
is going to solve this problem. It's not, because
One of the things that
fanatical that really wants to blow up this country is going to find a way to get in. He's not going to come in through the usual legal channels to begin with.
I'm honestly, I'm
banning
not
drugs
afraid.
hasn't worked. Banning assault rifles hasn't worked.
But,
none of that.
But Joe, you think that anybody who is for those things is going to accept that as, what, you're right, we should stop? Because I think
don't
we should
think
try
that
to
they're gonna
stop any kind of ban
I don't
on
think that
firearms.
they're going to stop, but I don't think that banning
This
is
is
going to
what
stop
I-
them either.
Well, I mean,
and I
but
don't
why-
think
why
building
do-
that
why do
stupid
people-
wall is going to stop people from coming into this
of course
country
it
either.
won't. Of course it won't. And there's no way Mexico's going to build it. We'll probably have Canadians build it before the Mexicans even think about it. But
And even then,
you
you'll
have to
still
do
have people
something.
coming in.
You have to do something. And I don't know what the answer is. There has to be some type of a screening process. And at the end of the day, and it sucks for me as an African-American man who has been stopped for no reason and handcuffed because I was walking home too late at night, it sucks to think that you have to do that kind of thing. I'm not for that, but
See,
when you're talking about people who are leaving a basically a militarized zone and looking for asylum, you just know there are people who are going to be coming in that are not on the up and up. I don't know how you fix it.
Trump's solution to this problem is tantamount to saying, "Oh, look, I cut my finger and I don't have any antiseptic or a Band-Aid. So since I might get infected, let me just cut off the whole finger. That way I'll avoid the infection."
I don't think that's the same thing.
It is the same thing.
No. I think it would be more like Trump is walking through a field and he's stepping on barbed wire. So he says, you know what, I'm not going to walk through that field. It's not I have to cut off my finger, I have to cut off my foot. It's like I don't have to let people in. America does not have to let anybody in. America has immigration laws. America has rules. All they have to do is enforce those rules, and they've never done that. Now, here's the thing that irritates me.
This isn't even an immigration issue. This is people who might want to just come in to visit family, and they're being denied access.
And you know what? We don't have to let them in. It sucks. When I drive from Oregon into California, I got to stop at a checkpoint where they ask me if I have frickin' potatoes in my trunk.
Uh-huh.
I shouldn't have to do that, but I do.
Well, that's to
so
avoid
why is it
bringing insects and other things.
What is more important? A fruit fly from Oregon getting an extra 30 feet,
okay, so
or somebody wanting to come in here and kill people?
By that standpoint, then, as the Muslim people come through the checkpoint, we should ask them, do you have any bombs on you? No?
Yeah,
Well, then you
sure,
come right
why
in.
not? Sure, why not? Why not? All I'm saying is everybody has to recognize America is a very unique place. It is an extremely unique, what do they call it? It's the great experiment. And
Yeah.
by and large has failed a great many times, a great many ways. And I think the experiment is coming to term. I think it's about ready to just make that final turn and die, because people don't really understand what America really is. They think it's all about rights. Nobody cares about responsibilities anymore. And at the end of the day, you can sit here and say, I think these people have the right to do this, and I think these people have the right to do that. But what is your responsibility in enforcing those rights? What is you're going to give up so that I can have the right to have whatever you have?
I think you completely
If you let everybody in, you have to accommodate those people. If you don't, you're recreating the situation they're trying to escape.
No, see, and I think that's where you misunderstand, or I think that's where people misunderstand. We can let people into this country, but that doesn't mean we have to accommodate every one of them.
Yes, we do.
I think if people come into the country, and I'm speaking from a standpoint of immigration, if you want to immigrate to America, you want to come here to become an American, not to be something
so then
outside
should
of
the
some other
question,
country.
so before you are allowed to enter the country, should you be asked, do you disavow any allegiance to the nation you're coming from?
No, I don't think we have to be that extreme either.
Well, then how do you know?
What do you mean, how do I know?
How do you know that they're not coming here and they're just going to play American? Because there's people who've been here for 30, 40 years that still don't speak English.
Yeah, that's very true.
Should they be sent back?
No, I don't think we should send them back.
Okay.
Do you think we should send them back?
No, not specifically, but I think there should be some kind of criteria.
On the other hand, I don't think we should be printing every form that we, make in 6 or 7 different languages.
Oh,
I think if you want to choose to not learn English or anything else, that's fine. But I shouldn't, as a taxpayer, have to foot the bill for, explaining everything in every language under the sun.
So I think the only thing we successfully concluded is it's a very complex issue.
Oh, unquestionably.
And you know what the easiest thing to do is? Just don't let them in. That's the easiest solution.
And my conclusion is that's wrong, and I'm right.
But it's the easiest solution.
Just because it's easy doesn't make it right.
No, it's not right, but it's easy. And it will stop terrorists.
I don't think it will.
It will. If they can't get in, how are they going to attack you?
I think they will get in.
I don't know.
They'll keep trying until they do. In fact, when you put the wall up, it makes them want to try that much harder.
It's the same thing as if you live in a dangerous neighborhood, locking your door. You can leave your door unlocked and say, well, they're probably not bad people if they come into my house. But some point, somebody bad is going to come through that door, especially if they know it's unlocked.
Why does your computer keep turning off like that?
Because
do you not know how to set the power settings? I mean,
no.
That's like really, really irritating. That
in that case, I'm not going to plug it in.
Glow
so it
on your screen and it.
Don't flip the camera.
Fluker, you didn't say a word through this whole argument.
I got this ham sandwich staring at me from the corner of my eye. Plus, this conversation is so boring.
Dang. Okay. Well,
you asked him.
Don't mince words. Why don't you tell us what you really think?
Can we mark that tape? I need that as a drop.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, right at the end of the show, too, definitely. All right. Well, this has been another thrilling episode of Around Midnight.
And I'm right.
Right here with the local boys, and CJ is not right on this one.
Totally right.
Please call, well, yeah, you can still call in, but please write in. Tell him how wrong he is on this one.
Nobody's going to do that because I'm right.
Ugh.
Go ahead and comment and
Facts.
follow on the YouTube page.
That's it.
Let us know what you think.
Give them the address again there, Fluger.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and check us out on Facebook. Facebook.com/Mixified
That was it?
Give us a comment on there.
Oh, okay.
We'll read them all next week.
What about the Twitter?
Oh, yeah. You can tweet us at Mixified. MIXIFIED.
Can they actually send us email somewhere?
Oh, yeah. Mixified@gmail.com.
There you go. See, there's a whole bunch of ways you can tell Chevelle how wrong he is. So, and we'll read them out loud next week if you actually bother to write. Anyway.
All right. If we get one person not sitting at this table to tell me I'm wrong, no, I'm not going to do nothing.
All right. Well, Around Midnight is a Mixified production, and it is produced through the Mixified facilities. For CJ Divine, Todd Fluker, and myself, Joe Carbonetta, we're going to say have a great night and stay Mixified. We'll see you next Friday night.
Facts.